Alrighty, welcome to the Movie Talk podcast. I am Nick of the Angry Gay blog.
And I am Chris, the one who will sit here and let Nick rant at him and smile and nod.
We do hope that you contribute, Chris. We hope.
Yeah, we can only hope.
So, with the Oscars coming up, I thought that would be a great topic to discuss because I can give you random bits of trivia and force you into a reaction so that we can have something interesting to talk about.
Sounds like a plan. Hit me.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and start with the shorts categories first. Bit of a minor rant here because I am the Angry Gay. They are not showing all three shorts categories at the ceremony this year. They are cutting one of them because I don't know why they think that will somehow increase viewership by not celebrating film.
Okay.
Jerks.
Yeah. I've seen that somewhere too. You're not the only one ranting about that. I've definitely seen that on Twitter.
Oh no, it's all over the place. There's the show all 24 on Twitter. I don't think that's the correct handcash. Let's see, what is the proper hashtag for the... It is present all 24.
Present all 24. Hashtag present all 24. Yeah, assholes.
Yes, Academy. I don't know why the fuck you think that we don't, do not know who your fan base is. I mean, come on now.
I think one of the best arguments that I'd seen for it was I follow Felicia Day on Twitter, and I love her.
Oh, she's
great.
Amazing.
Yeah, she was saying, why are you leaving all of these things out? The only way we're going to get more of these people is if we're publicly celebrating them. Yeah, we can't all be actors and actresses. That's just not how the world works. You know, we need those.
It really isn't, and the four categories that they are not showing during the ceremony are live action short, which a lot of people have cut their teeth. Like their first efforts are in that category. So this is kind of a window to maybe future directors of note. They're cutting makeup, which is such a weird category, and I'll go into that when we discuss it, but that's so essential. Like, you look at the popular movies, you look at Black Panther and the makeup work that they had to do on Michael B. Jordan's entire body. Like, it is so essential to the blockbusters that why would you remove that?
There's so many small things that go into any production that...
And then the two big ones are cinematography and editing, which, Jesus Christ, why not just cut one of the acting categories if you're cutting one of those?
Yeah, exactly. Where's the love for the editors, the people who actually put together the fucking movie that you're watching? Because without them,
I mean,
there's a lot of garbage. A lot of garbage.
Very true. I mean, look at the difference between Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained, where Quentin Tarantino's longtime editor passed away in between the filming, and it is such a tighter movie on the former because the editor's touch is that big. I mean, Best Picture nominee versus Nothing Since getting more than maybe some acting, couple of technical nominations. Like, it's a very big deal. And same with cinematography. That's the entire look of the movie. Like, it's just so essential that it's silly at the best to not include it. And I just don't understand. I don't understand why they think removing... Like, if you need to cut to make it shorter, we don't need 15 damn montages. You should do one for the movies of the year, one for the people that died, and move on. That's 30 minutes off your broadcast right there. Rumble.
Starting off strong.
So we'll start with live action shorts
All right.
since it's one of the ones cut. The nominees are Skin, Mother, Marguerite, Fauve, which I might be mispronouncing, and Detainment. Longest of them is 30 minutes to kind of give an idea of what constitutes a short film. Haven't seen any of them,
Neither have
but they have started each year releasing all of the short nominees. It's generally like one for the live action, one for the animated, and this year they had to do 2 for the documentary shorts because those do tend to be a little bit longer. And their first weekend, they made almost $1 million. So it's like there is an audience for this.
Yeah, obviously.
And some people will know some of them. Live action or the animated in particular, you tend to see those like before Pixar movies, before Disney movies. Like they do have a place in cinema. Right. Of the nominees, just going off the descriptions, I feel like Detainment, which is the 30-minute long one, is the one to beat. I actually looked it up. It's a true story. It's obviously filmed here. They're not using a documentary format. About 2 10-year-old boys who kidnapped and murdered a 3-year-old.
Oh, shit. That's dark. Fuck.
It's very dark. It's an important, weighty subject matter, and if the child performances are good, I feel like it's an easy win.
Huh.
Because the important stuff tends to win this category. Marguerite has won a whole bunch of prizes at festivals, but they were mostly queer ones. So Oscar's still a little nervous about the gays somehow. Even though that's their main audience, I'm going to embrace that stereotype. But yeah, they probably you can find them on YouTube, and if they're not in a theater, that I would want to watch them beforehand, just because short film has, it's basically like a TV show episode, only shorter, and you have to tell the entire thing in one go. So like it's such a different type of filmmaking that it's interesting to see what tricks they use to get the story told with the economy of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that's a big struggle with even feature-length films, is how to tell a story in a quote-unquote normal amount of time, what people expect when they have a movie.
And going back to our why would you cut this rant, editing, I imagine, is so very important for this because you have a limited frame that you need to get the most information possible into each shot, which an editor would definitely help with.
Yeah, because guess what, folks? If you don't have editing, you're looking at hundreds of hours of footage. Most of it is the same thing over and over and over again.
Oh, yes.
Because that's how movies work.
Moving on to documentary short film. The longer ones on this one are 40 minutes. The shortest is 7 minutes, so you kind of have a wide gamut there. The nominees are Black Sheep, Endgame, Lifeboat, A Night at the Garden, and Period, End of Sentence.
Okay. I like the title of the last one.
The last one is about women in rural India fighting against the stigma that surrounds menstruation.
Period. The end. Okay, I get it. Nice. Well done.
But I don't think that's the favorite. A Night at the Garden is the 7-minute one. So obviously it's going to be a lot easier for more people to watch because of how short it is. It's about an American Nazi rally in 1939, shortly before World War II began. And it's fucking relevant.
Yeah. It's just funny to me.
It is sadly relevant.
It's just funny to me how short it is. Like, I wonder why it is so short.
Especially since the next shortest is 26 minutes, that is kind of weird. But because of how short it is, it must make a very big, strong impact very quickly. So I think the category has a tendency to reward movies about Nazis. So shortness, Nazi theme, sadly relevant. I think that gives it a leg up. Again, having not seen any of these.
Right.
The only other one to me that really jumps out is something that will, like, topical that might get attention is Lifeboat, which is about a German nonprofit that goes out into the Mediterranean to rescue refugees.
Okay.
Again, also
Very
topical in the United States right now.
Extremely topical. Yeah, very relevant to current events.
Black Sheep is available on Amazon Prime, and Endgame is available on Netflix. So that's two that you can very easily watch right now. I bet A Night at the Garden is on YouTube somewhere.
Well, let's find out.
7 minutes. That'd be really easy.
Yeah, that's you know what? That even beats the YouTube algorithm because it's like 10 to 15 minutes is what you normally want to shoot for, and it's a little shorter than that. Put a bunch of ads on there, boom, you're making money. Anyway, enough about the YouTube bullshit. Wait, what was that called again? That was
A Night at the Garden.
Let me see. Go ahead and move on to the next topic. I'm curious to see if I can pull this up.
Alrighty. The next one, animated short film. These I definitely feel, if they are not on YouTube yet, they will eventually, because they are, the shortest is 8 minutes and the longest is 16 minutes. So that's real easy, short watch, knock them all out in an afternoon. And one of them is probably already widely seen. That would be Bow, which showed before The Incredibles 2. It's the one about the woman who makes a dumpling that comes to life and becomes a de facto son to her. And it basically kind of does the greatest hits of growing up with a child as they slowly drift away and move on, kind of explores empty nest syndrome. It's great. I loved the hell out of it. And I have seen it. It's the one I've seen, the one out of these 15 nominees.
Yeah, I always love anything that's animated because there's a huge amount of work and talent that goes into those things. Not to say there's not a huge amount of work and talent that goes into a movie, but like I guess I have a better appreciation for it because I've dabbled a little bit in the animation realm. There's so much to do. Like, you have to program the way light works, in certain situations. Like, I mean, you, at least with a movie, you can be like, oh, we'll just go at this time and film this scene. No, I just have to program it if I'm making a animated movie for that part. But so huge respect to animated films.
The other nominees are Animal Behavior, Late Afternoon, One Small Step, and Weekends. Fun fact, there are 3 Asians nominated in this category for the first time ever.
Interesting.
Someone from Bao, someone from One Small Step, which is about a Chinese-American girl wanting to be an astronaut, and one from Weekends, who actually, that one won the Annie Award, which are the animated equivalent of the Oscars, I would hazard to say. Which kind of makes it the front runner. I still think Bao might win as a more widely seen because it was before The Incredibles 2.
So now when you say it's going to there are Asian individuals that are being nominated, these are the individuals that created these films?
That is correct. They're the ones that are listed. They're the ones that will go up there and say thank you for giving me the Oscar, should they win. Because I think even with these short films, you have just like one name for a 60-minute short. That just seems like way too much work to just have a single person that worked on it. This is probably the director, the person that kind of guided it.
Most likely.
I would think. I could be wrong on that.
Most likely, yeah. Not to detract too much from our current conversation, but A Night at the Garden does appear on YouTube. It looks like there is one on here. It's about 7 minutes, 6 seconds, and there's like several others of varying other lengths. I don't know if they have other stuff tied to them. I imagine the 7-minute one is the one that you're looking for. It is by Field of Vision is the channel name.
Let me see if that is the production company on it. It does not say. It's directed by Marshall Curry.
Yep, that's here in the description.
Yep, there we go.
There you go. If you want to watch A Night at the Garden, you can. It's 7 minutes on YouTube by, what's the channel name again? Field of Vision. So have at it.
Alrighty, next category, documentary, which is a kind of unique category. You don't really see stuff from documentary nominated in other categories, so it's kind of its own self-contained thing. Not true this year. RBG, one of the nominees, is also nominated for Best Song.
Interesting.
Competing against RBG are Free Solo, Hale County, This Morning, This Evening, Minding the Gap, and Of Fathers and Sons.
Okay.
And I am going to rant a little bit about documentary because back in the 80s, there was a year where they had a whole bunch of really successful documentaries. You had Hoop Dreams, you had Paris is Burning, Madonna, Truth or Dare. They were very successful, made a lot of money, and then none of them got nominated. It was smaller films that no one, in some cases, people had no one had heard of them. So this year is kind of a mirror to that, and that you had RBG about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It made a lot of money, but so did Three Identical Strangers and Won't You Be My Neighbor, and neither of them got nominated. And far be it from me to judge there's probably a lot about documentaries that I don't know as a casual fan of them, but I do know one of the makings of a successful documentary is getting people to actually watch it.
Yeah, that's kind of a prerequisite.
And to deny that, like, I'm not saying, whatever makes the most money needs to be nominated, because let's be honest, sometimes total shit makes a lot of money. It happens very frequently.
True.
The Transformers movies are a great example of that.
Oh man, people just love those explosions, man. What can I say? They just
they do. But especially like Won't You Be My Neighbor, that was like, hell, they're doing a movie with Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers.
That's right.
It was that successful.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And Three Identical Strangers I have not seen, but I want to see it so bad because it is the weirdest story. It was three triplets that were each given to different families. They were adopted by different families and grew up completely separated, and then through chance ended up meeting each other when they were like 19, 20 years old.
Wow.
Sounds crazy, and I'm interested just off that, like, get me to it. But I wonder if maybe, and this might have also affected Won't You Be My Neighbor, which is about a TV icon. Three Identical Strangers was produced by CNN Films, and I'm wondering if there's that's television snobbery to it. Just like there's kind of do we need to be giving Netflix all these awards because they're not really a movie company?
I don't know. I think it should still qualify, personally.
I mean, if they were theatrical releases, like I'm more in favor of the don't allow Netflix thing, because I do think you need to be in movie theaters to be considered for movie
Mm-hmm.
awards. I mean, if you're going to be made for TV, that's what the Emmys are for. But streaming is such a new animal. I think it'll still be a few more years before that argument gets settled.
Sure, but I think it eventually will, for sure. I think there's going to be a line drawn somewhere, for good or bad, of what constitutes as a movie. Does it require a theatrical release, or does any media made of moving pictures qualify as some sort of movie?
Well, they did make a change to this, because if it wasn't last year, it was the year before. OJ Made in America won,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like 14 hours. It was like a TV miniseries that happened to show in theaters first.
Jeez.
And it won, and so that can't happen anymore. So I feel like they are kind of starting to, like, we need to put some rules in place, because a 14-hour miniseries is definitely going to be able to grab you and tell a story better than a 2-hour movie.
Well, yeah, obviously you have all the time in the world at that point.
Exactly. Now, as the biggest moneymaker of the nominees, RBG, about the notorious Ruth Bader Ginsburg, is probably our front runner. But I'm hearing a lot of fans of Free Solo and Minding the Gap, so this is actually kind of a volatile category where it's probably RBG, but there's potential for surprise there.
Sure, well, that's good. You don't ever want a race to just be completely one-sided.
I mean, sometimes you do.
Well,
And something's obviously superior.
depends on the racers, I suppose.
Which brings us to animated feature.
All right.
So I've actually seen movies in this category, which is exciting. Our nominees are Incredibles 2,
Yep.
Isle of Dogs,
Mm-hmm.
Ralph Breaks the Internet, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Mirai, which I might be mispronouncing. It's Mirai. It's from Japan.
Mirai, that sounds right.
It sounds right, but I am not good with names. So, frontrunner is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it's been winning all the critics awards, and I am fully on board with that, because holy crap, what a great movie.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Are you sure it's not because it's just the newest thing out?
No, I think I can point to Incredibles 2, which is its biggest competition, because it was such a huge hit. Story structure problems, and it didn't really do anything new. It was just kind of the superheroes are back. Let's maybe create some friction as far as them being reintroduced into this fictional world, where Spider-Man was doing like comic book style dialogue and shots. It had a completely unique animation style. The different Spider-Men within the movie were different animation styles. Like, it was just very unique and different in a way that really worked for the medium.
Okay. Is that one still in theaters? I don't know, because I haven't had a chance to watch it.
If it is, it's near the end of its run, and you're not going to be able to see it in that many others.
Man. I missed out on that one. I really wanted to watch it, and then just never had the chance.
Oh, it is so good. I've seen it, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Incredibles 2, and it is so easily the best of those three. And honestly, like, I probably would put it in my top 5 movies for the year.
Yeah, just knowing the hype behind it, I would probably throw my lot in with that one too, even though I haven't seen it, just because it blew up more than Ralph Breaks the Internet, more than Incredibles 2. I think with those two, there was a lot of hype before the movie, and then the movie came out, and then I heard, it was okay, it was good, but I didn't hear like.
I mean, there was obviously a demand. Incredibles 2 made $600 million at the box
Obviously.
office. So I just anything short of perfection was going to be a bit of a letdown because they've had so long to work on it. It's still a solid, enjoyable movie. I just don't think they really do, and they subvert some tropes, but that's about it as far as what they did unique to them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That one I have watched as well. The only, I haven't watched the other two in that category though. But
what was? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say definitely. Just based on all the hype and all the glowing reviews that I've heard about it, I would definitely put Into the Spider-Verse as a shoo-in.
And I hope it does win it because, damn, it's such a good movie. I really can't say any more than that. Like, it's just a damn good movie. All right, so our next category, we're going to move into the craft categories. Makeup and hair, which is always so weird to me because it's the only category that has 3 nominees. And I'm like, makeup and hair is in every single movie. Why is this the one that we go so narrow?
Yep.
The nominees are Border, Mary Queen of Scots, and Vice. I know nothing about Border. It is the one I have not heard anything about prior to these nominations. I've seen some of the makeup work and it looks interesting, but no idea what it's about.
I haven't heard of that one or seen really anything for it. I think the only one in that category that I've actually seen anything for is Mary Queen of Scots, which I've just seen previews, but man, I'd be willing to sit down and watch that one. It definitely looks interesting. It's over a subject that I kind of find interesting, that medieval history.
Oh yeah, I think with that one, its main problem was that story has been done cinematically quite a few times. So it's really hard to like, okay, here's another movie about Mary Queen of Scots.
Right.
Let's see how they manipulate history to try to make this interesting. I mean, I still want to see it because it stars Margot Robbie and Saoirse Ronan, and I think they're both really good actresses. Be quite interesting to see their performances, but it's not one of those, oh, I need to go see this movies for me.
Right.
Vice, I think, is probably going to win because they made Christian Bale look like Dick Cheney. And I feel like that's it right there. Like, boom.
That's such a... Hang on, I need to look this up.
Random factoid, my trivia that I have written down for it. Christian Bale, who plays Dick Cheney, shares a birthday with him also, which is so weird.
That is very weird, and holy crap.
Oh, you're seeing the picture, I guess.
Yeah, wow.
Like, part of that is a physical transformation because Christian Bale is destroying his body for cinema, and I wish he would stop because I'm worried for him.
Yeah, he definitely put on weight. Wow, that's so
But they still
crazy.
did a lot of makeup work. And again, this speaks to how important makeup is. Why are you cutting it from the... Like, I love seeing it on the actual broadcast because they traditionally show some of the makeup work that was done, and I love seeing the transformation that they do.
Wow, yeah, that's absolutely insane. Yeah, no, definitely. That's great. I would say that's a job well done on the makeup department. Not even seeing the show, just looking at pictures, like, wow.
All right, our next craft category, visual effects.
Ooh.
The nominees are Avengers: Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, and Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now, I'm just going to start off with this category is a fraud. Annihilation did not even make the short list.
Coming in real
when
strong
they narrowed down. I'm sorry, like, just the bear in Annihilation, like, give them all of the Oscars for it, because holy fuck. Like, Annihilation was so good with the visual effects that it is fucking ridiculous that it did not get recognized for it. Now, of the ones that are nominated, I've heard really good things about the First Man visual effects, but from what I understand, they're very understated. It's they're telling the story and using the visual effects to buoy the story.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably will not win because they like most effects. So this is probably Avengers that gets this one.
Okay.
But it's not a guarantee, because superhero movies, in which we talk about how ubiquitous they are, they have only ever won this category twice. And the last time was 15 years ago.
Which movie?
Spider-Man 2. And before that, the last superhero movie to win was 1978's Superman.
Wow. For the same category or just in general?
It's the same category.
Okay.
Like, visual effects doesn't give it to the superheroes movie. Star Wars traditionally does well. Only one of them has ever not even been nominated. But I do think Avengers Infinity War will take this one, because it was such an event, and Black Panther, despite being a Best Picture nominee, weirdly didn't get nominated here. I would say that Avengers does have the better visual effects.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really argue, they should have put Black Panther in. But it is weird to me that one got so many other nominations while still missing out on this category.
That is a little strange, because Black Panther is really good. Yeah, there's a lot of visual effects work going into that one as well. I think, I don't know, I think maybe just the scope of Infinity War just kind of overrules it. I don't know.
I can see that. And then you also had Ant-Man and the Wasp, which didn't get nominated, which most of the reviews I've read said that one had the best use of visual effects out of the big Marvel movies this year.
Yeah, and which makes sense, because a lot of that, well, I haven't seen it, the concept of that kind of movie is you're taking a man and making him very small. Of course, that movie's going to have a lot of visual effects in it to make it all make sense. But they definitely showcased a lot of that type stuff in the trailers, for sure.
Yep. Ready Player One, I have no opinion on. I didn't see it. It looked so bad. And I don't know if, like, I guess I can't knock the visuals that were in the trailer, but it just looked so bad. So, nothing to say about that. Christopher Robin, the animal work is pretty impressive on it. I don't know. It's this one. I feel like it's going to go to Avengers Infinity War, but you do have that, I guess, bias against superhero films, so maybe not. Maybe we'll get a surprise here.
Maybe. I would root for Infinity War. There's a lot of good work in that.
Yes, it was very impressive.
I can't think of a...
All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I would go ahead and finish your thought.
No, I was just going to say, like, thinking back, like, I can't think of any moment in Infinity War where I kind of sat back and was like, that's just hokey. Like, does it look good? No, I thought everything looked pretty good and flowed well. I don't know. Layman's opinion, I suppose.
All right, our next editing, which that all-important editing.
All important.
Our nominees are Black Klansman,
Okay.
Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, and Vice.
Ah, we got Vice in there again.
Yes. Now, editing, and this goes back to why it's ridiculous to cut this. This is generally a good barometer of what is the front runner for Best
Mm-hmm.
Picture. It's very rare for a movie to win Best Picture without at least a nomination here, and generally you also want a win
Mm-hmm.
here. Like it's very important a category. Uh, of the nominations, I would think, or the nominees, I would think The Favorite is the front runner. Favorite had 10 total nominations, tied with Roma for the most. But I don't know. This is a weird category. You have Black Klansman, which Spike Lee editing in his movies is so very important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Vice is most editing. It's a very stylistic movie. Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, if you're going to do a movie with a whole bunch of concerts, I would think that Star is Born would be the one you want to go with.
That's the one with Lady Gaga, right? Okay.
Yes. Which a lot of people are counting it out. Like, it was considered like Black Klansman, Roma, Favorite, Stars Born for Best Picture. Then Green Book started getting a bunch of heat, and Stars Born has kind of fallen back.
Hmm.
Bohemian Rhapsody is a piece of shit movie. I feel like this nomination only happened because the director it had 3 directors. Bryan Singer got fired from the set,
Hmm.
and they had to throw all of that shit together, and it made a whole bunch of money. So it's like, oh, good on you. You salvaged that piece of shit.
Well, yeah, yeah, I could see that being a problem. I mean, it's sort of similar to what the original Star Wars movie, like it was saved in the editing room. I don't know if you've ever heard the stories about that, but like
Oh,
people
yes.
people went to the initial screening of Star Wars and they're like, this is garbage. You know what? They kind of sound like the Star Wars community right now.
Oh, I mean, they didn't nominate Solo, and it went through a similar issue, so
Yeah, yeah. I think
let's be consistent here,
there's a
Academy.
lot of problems with that. But
I'm kind of hoping Black Klansman wins, just because it's Spike Lee's longtime editor, and there's so many good Spike Lee movies.
oh yeah,
Alrighty, well, we'll hop into the next category, production design.
production design.
Our nominees are Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, Mary Poppins Returns, and Roma.
Okay.
Interesting factoid on this one. Hannah Beachler, who's nominated for Black Panther, is the first black person to ever be nominated for production design.
Wow.
And honestly, I kind of lean towards Black Panther as the favorite in this category because Wakanda was amazing.
Absolutely. No, hands down. Me too. I haven't even seen those other movies, but Black Panther's design is just so good.
Mary Poppins Returns, they do a good job of recreating the original, but adding time to the sets, because a lot of it takes place in the same house as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, they're not as well off as the family was in the original, and so they have lots of nice details scattered throughout, and they do a lot with the wider world also. So they do a solid job there. But yeah, Black Panther, Wakanda is so amazing.
Going back to
That
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's just what I would think would be the favorite.
I think so too. There was a lot of good things about Black Panther beyond just this, but this is definitely one of those things that they nailed in this movie. But going back to Mary Poppins, do you think it kind of worked against them that they were kind of recreating this, or do you think that's a plus for them?
I do think that because Mary Poppins only got 4 total nominations, I think it tied with First Man for the most without a Best Picture nomination. I think that there was kind of an expectation that the movie couldn't meet. Because the first Mary Poppins, if I'm remembering correctly, is the only Walt Disney movie live action to have been nominated for Best Picture. I might be wrong there, but I'm fairly certain that's true. So you have such expectations following that up 50 years later. Emily Blunt was nominated for all the precursors for Best Actress and still missed out on a Best Actress nomination. And I think part of that was just a reaction to the film.
Mm-hmm.
Though I think the film is very enjoyable. Like, I loved it. I left that movie so happy.
Nope. Hang on. Sorry. Technical difficulties there for a second.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Say that one last thing one last time.
Mary Poppins, I left that movie theater so incredibly happy. Like, it was just such a feel-good movie.
I remember you coming and telling us about it at work, that you enjoyed it a lot. It was very, very plain to me that you really loved it. So, yeah.
I mean, I'd still give the win to Black Panther, but I enjoyed it. I think because of all the Disney remakes, maybe people are kind of getting tired of it, so they're like, this is one I can skip. But it's really such a good movie, and Emily Blunt is so wonderful in it. And, I mean, they're singing, they're dancing, it's just a good time.
It's a good time. We need that these days, I think.
Oh,
every now and
Lord,
again.
yes.
It's definitely one I need to check out. I kind of slept on that one. I kind of passed
And
me
I think
by.
that one is still in theaters.
Oh, is it? Might have to go.
It's probably near the end of its life in theaters also, but...
Gotcha.
All right, moving on along to cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
The nominees here are Cold War, The Favorite, Never Look Away, Roma, and A Star is Born.
Okay, well, at least Star is Born is being...
It did get some nominations. It wasn't completely ignored. I made it sound like that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This is the second time in the history of the category that 3 foreign films have been nominated. With Cold War from Poland, Never Look Away from Germany, and Roma.
Wow. It's not a bad thing.
No, I and see that's why I hate this category is being cut, is because that's such an interesting factoid, and even like just seeing it at the awards, seeing like, oh wow, I've never heard of this movie. You're gonna see clips of the movie, and maybe this expands the audience, and more people go see Cold War or Never Look Away because of
Absolutely.
it. Roma, I'm pretty sure, is going to win this one. It's black and white. Alfonso Cuarón has 4 nominations for picture, director, cinematography, and original screenplay. One of the screenplay categories. So, like, he wrote... This was like a passion project of his. It's been cleaning up the cinematography awards. I think this is the one. That is the one to beat.
All right. Nice.
However, I will say that the cinematography in A Star is Born is beautifully done. Concert footage is amazing. And if you haven't seen that movie, that's definitely one to go see. Lady Gaga can act, y'all. I promise.
She can.
And Bradley Cooper sings really well.
Really?
Yeah, the first time I saw the trailer, I was shocked. Like, oh, wow. That's pretty impressive.
It's amazing how many actors like can actually sing well, and I mean, especially those that, you know, there's some that you'd expect to sing well because they started Broadway or whatever, but
I don't know, like, Hugh Jackman got his start on Broadway, and I still hear people like, what? He can sing? I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
Greatest Showman, Les Miserables,
Yep.
like, it's a thing!
I think they're blinded by the whole, Wolverine thing.
Which is funny, because whenever those X-Men movies came out, there was, he was on Broadway in a show called The Boy from Oz, where he plays... Oh, I can't remember his name. He married Liza Minnelli, turned out to be gay. So this is a very gay performance that Hugh Jackman is giving just as he's becoming Wolverine.
It's funny. You said the boy from Oz, and I was thinking like the boy from Australia. And I was like, oh, so he's just playing himself.
I mean, I do believe the that's what they're referring to as Australia.
Well, there we go.
I'm actually unfamiliar with The Boy from Oz. There were other shinier musicals that distracted me that season, so...
Let's see.
Never bought the cast recording to it.
The Boy from Oz. Based on the life of singer and songwriter Peter Allen. Stuff for it on YouTube. May have to check that out later.
It'll blow your mind. You'll never look at Hugh Jackman the same. So, costume design.
Costume design.
Our final craft category. Our nominees are The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Panther, The Favorite, Mary Poppins Returns, and Mary Queen of Scots.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Interesting factoid. There's actually several about this one that I want to bring up. Ruth E. Carter, who is nominated for Black Panther, and I tentatively say is the frontrunner.
Mm-hmm.
This is her third nomination in costume, which makes her the most nominated black craft person ever.
Okay.
And she actually ties with Octavia Spencer and Viola Davis as the most nominated black woman in the history of the Academy Awards with 3 nominations.
Wow. Nice.
So go Ruth.
Go Ruth.
I have nothing but good things to say about the Wakandan costumes. Mary Queen of Scots, The Favorite, they kind of have that British royal costuming, which I feel like is an easy get for this category.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's always some nomination similar to that. Mary Poppins, I'm going to again sing the praises of Mary Poppins Returns. The costuming in this, particularly when they go into the animated section, are phenomenal. And I think it is very deserving of this nomination.
Over Black Panther?
I still would give the win to Black Panther, but if Black Panther doesn't win, Mary Poppins Returns is my second choice.
All right, fair enough.
Now, what will probably prevent it from winning is Sandy Powell, who is nominated for Mary Poppins Returns, is also nominated for The Favorite. She has 2 nominations in this category.
Just because of the show. She knows what she's doing.
She does. She broke her, I think, own record for most nominations, most double nominations, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
If Mary Poppins does win, that's kind of, since it, harkens to the original a bit. The original didn't win costume design.
Mm-hmm.
It lost to My Fair Lady. So, if they don't give it to Black Panther, because I actually can't think of a good reason for them not to. If you're going to give it to Sandy Powell, give it to Mary Poppins Returns and rectify that mistake from all those many years ago.
Fair enough. Let's see. We went through Black Panther, Mary Poppins, and what was this other one?
The Favorites.
Favorites, that's it.
Mary Queen of Scots and Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which I can watch on Netflix, but I haven't. I really should now that it has multiple Oscar nominations.
I've heard good things, but I know nothing about it. So
Same. I know it's a series of like mini stories within.
but yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you on Black Panther. Just everything visually about that movie just came together so well, I feel.
Like I'm so disappointed. Ryan Coogler, right? I'm suddenly doubting myself on that.
That's what Google's for.
That is why Google was invented.
Specifically for this question.
Yes, okay, it is Ryan Coogler. I'm not an idiot in this regard. Like, he didn't get a Best Director nomination, and he didn't really even get precursor attention for it, which is so disappointing to me because you know he had such a strong hand in the making of this movie that for him to just be completely ignored all throughout. I mean, you have like Bradley Cooper not winning any awards for directing A Star Is Born and then not getting nominated either. But to me, Ryan Coogler had the single best cohesive vision. And like, look at the important stuff that was discussed in Black Panther. So topical, and it just kind of like, oh, well, you know, those Marvel movies, the directors are just there for damage control, which no, they're not. Like, that's why there are good and there are bad Marvel movies.
I mean, the directors are there like for any other movie to pull together a vision to tell a story. That's what they do.
Yeah, it's disappointing. But I suppose the fact that he made $700 million at the U.S. box office is like, you know, he wipes away his tears with $100 bills.
Yeah.
I hope they better have paid him well for that movie.
Yeah, no shit. Job well done.
All right, now the oral categories. AURAL for those that are dirty-minded.
Thank you for
Best Original Score.
Ah, yes.
Nominees are Black Panther, Black Klansman, If Beale Street Could Talk, Isle of Dogs, and Mary Poppins Returns.
Yep.
This one, I think it's between, this is going to sound familiar, Mary Poppins Returns and Black Panther. I swear it's not just because these are the movies I've seen. Mary Poppins Returns, like, a musical kind of has a leg up here because that is so important to the success of a musical, is having good music. Like, if the songs suck, no one's going to watch your musical.
True, but at the same time, like, all of the superhero, all the Avengers compilation of movies, they've really nailed it on the soundtrack front, I feel. And I think Black Panther is definitely one of their better showings at that.
I definitely think Black Panther is the front runner of the two. I feel like since it's probably not going to take a bunch of the main awards, it's going to clean up on the technicals and kind of get rewarded that way. What's funny about this is there would be a frontrunner that would not be either of those two, cleaned up all of the precursors, won the Globe, won the BFCA, did not get nominated for the Oscar, and that was First Man.
Huh. Why do you think that is?
I think First Man kind of disappointed box office wise. Like, you know, it stars Ryan Gosling. It's from the guy that directed La La Land and Whiplash, two very acclaimed, successful movies. La La Land, obviously, more so. Just for whatever reason, it didn't connect with audiences, and I think, even though that obviously doesn't speak to the quality of the movie, like, if people don't watch your movie, it's hard to win awards for it.
True.
Damien Chazelle. I was trying to remember who the director was. I love La La Land. I should have remembered that. So it's kind of a volatile category because he kind of dominated the awards. I'm interested to see. Like, this could be one where Isle of Dogs comes out of nowhere and wins it.
Sure.
Or if Beale Street Could Talk, which is kind of a also ran. Like, it was one that I hate to call a movie Oscar bait because I think very few movies actually are, but it definitely seems like the type of movie that Oscar would embrace.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of got lost in the shuffle, so maybe this will be how they reward that movie, or Black Klansman. So that one, it's interesting. This one, I think, like, again, you have Black Panther, which I think is the front runner, and then Mary Poppins Returns nipping at its heels again. But it could go either way, and it definitely could have a surprise.
I'm kind of surprised that Black Panther's made all these nominations. I mean, I'm not surprised that they're well worth it, well earned. But yeah, just being a superhero movie, just not quite expecting as many as they've gotten so far.
It got, let me double check this, I want to say 8 total.
Wow.
Nominations.
Very nice.
Let's see. It got 7 nominations.
Lucky number 7.
Including Best Picture.
Oh, they got Best Picture too. Oh, well, I guess we'll talk about that when we get to it. But
oh, we will definitely talk about Best Picture. So let's see. We just original score, original song.
Original song. Okay.
The nominees are When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings from The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, All of the Stars from Black Panther, The Place Where Lost Things Go, Mary Poppins Returns, I'll Fight from RBG, and Shallow from A Star Is Born. And Shallow is winning this award. Like, it'd be nice if there was some competition, but that's not the case this year. Shallow has won everything. It's a major pop hit. It's Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper. It's a great song. Beautifully works within the main storyline of A Star Is Born. This is happening.
Wow,
it is a done thing.
You heard it here first, folks.
And I really shouldn't say that, because I've seen before where this is going to win has lost. I've watched the Oscars long enough that I've seen it happen multiple times. But I am standing strong on this. Shallow is your Best Original Song nominee.
There you have it, folks.
And the only thing that could make it lose is if there's some sort of backlash against Lady Gaga, because in another one of those boneheaded, let's improve the Academy Awards by ruining them ideas that they had, they were only going to let 2 of the 5 nominees be performed at the Oscars.
Oh, man.
Shallow, and I want to say All of the Stars was the other one. And Lady Gaga was like, I will not perform unless everyone gets to.
Good on her.
You know, good on her. I know she gets a lot of shit. She has earned some justifiable criticism. But I do appreciate her sticking up for the other nominees and saying, no, everyone gets their moment.
Heck yeah. I had no idea about that. Yeah, good on you. And screw off. Oscars, I guess. I don't know.
Diane Warren, who wrote I'll Fight for RBG, which is performed by Jennifer Hudson, which is like, that is an Oscar winner that you're cutting out of the ceremony. Diane Warren has been nominated 10 times without a win.
10 times.
Yep.
Wow.
This is her 10th nomination. She has not won yet. Maybe she's the surprise, but I feel like if anything surprises here, it's going to be the Mary Poppins song.
Yeah, probably.
But, yeah. Again, but there's not going to be a surprise. It's going to be Shallow. It's so great. It's going to win. Plus, honestly, The Place Where Lost Things Go, not the best song for Mary Poppins Returns. It's the most melancholy and serious, but Trip of the Light, fantastic, or The Cover Is Not the Book, I think were much better songs within the context of the movie. So, but yeah, we're not going to waste time on the other songs because Shallow is winning this. Deservedly. It is a great song. And it's not just posted over the credits for an easy nomination. All right, so sound mixing and sound editing.
Also very important.
Now, those are two important categories. This is one where I do wonder, like, you don't break out any of the other categories into the individual elements. If you desperately need to remove some awards, I think you could combine this, and it used to be just a best sound category. Like, this is like, okay, let's combine these two into one. There you go. We're still recognizing, and a lot of times it's the same nominees.
Right.
Like, there is a one nominee difference between these two categories. Nominees Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, and Roma are in both categories. The difference is sound mixing has A Star Is Born, and sound editing has A Quiet Place.
Okay, well,
which good on A Quiet Place for getting... Like, I do think that those movies are a great example on how the categories are different, because you're mixing concert footage in A Star Is Born, having to have crowd sounds, music, singing, all of that meld together and still be something you can listen to.
Right.
Versus the editing, like how the sound is so important to A Quiet Place. These little things here and there seem so much louder. Like, it's a great... These are, but the thing is, the same movie wins both year after year. Unless something is just like, oh my god, the sound mixing is so amazing here, or the sound editing is so amazing here. It's gonna be the same movie.
Yeah, I get where you're coming at there.
Which I'm hoping is Black Panther. I'm terrified it's gonna be Bohemian Rhapsody, because they might feel the need to recognize this shit movie with an award instead of just nominations. But this is one where I'm going with Black Panther just because, again, my theory that it's going to do really well in the craft categories is kind of a, sorry you're not getting any of the big ones.
Right. But even so, well-deserved, regardless.
Yeah, I won't argue against it. Oh, I actually missed a little bit of trivia on the original song. Lady Gaga is nominated for original song and for Best Actress. It is the second time that has ever happened that someone had nominations in those two categories in the same year.
Oh.
The first time was last year with Mary J. Blige getting a supporting actress nomination and getting nominated for original song for Mudbound.
Oh, okay.
So never happened in 90 years, and then boom, boom, one right after the other.
Nice.
I can dig it. All right, so now we're getting to the Big Eight. Well, before we go to the Big Eight, let's go into foreign film, because foreign film is so interesting. Because foreign film is where you see, it's not like documentary or animated, where you occasionally see something nominated outside of that category. Foreign film, like, you sometimes see pop up in Best Director, or, you know, they're all over this, especially this year with Never Look Away and Cold War and Roma. Roma has 10 nominations.
Oh, wow.
In all categories. It's tied with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as the most nominated foreign film ever.
Wow, Crouching Tiger
and there's
really
a lot
got
of that
many?
this year. Yes, it did.
Wow.
Did not get any acting ones, which Roma has over it. It was almost like Best Picture and a whole bunch of tech stuff for Crouching Tiger. Roma actually managed to get 2 acting nominations. But before we digress too far, our nominees are... And these are foreign films, so if I fuck up a word, it's because I am terrible at foreign films.
You can email your complaints at... I'm kidding.
Capernaum from Lebanon, Cold War from Poland, Never Look Away from Germany, Roma from Mexico, and Shoplifters from Japan.
Oh, so there's only one word that you really had to worry about.
Yeah, that first one, which I'm almost positive I mispronounced, and I apologize to the filmmakers. I'm sure your movie is amazing. Please don't hate me. I actually watch foreign films, so I will probably see it. I always feel so bad when I mispronounce things. Like, it's like I feel like such an asshole doing that. Random facts besides the Roma 10 nominations. This is the 20th nomination in the category for Germany. And it is the second consecutive nomination for Lebanon in the category.
Hey, Lebanon, moving on up in the world.
Woo woo!
At least in the world of movies and things.
Japan, I'm glad they make it. There is a real aversion. I won't say aversion. For some reason, they are less likely to nominate Asian cinema in foreign film. Like, Japan is, I think, the tops with 13 nominations over a 90-year history, and I honestly feel like more Asian films have kind of crossed over than any other foreign country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just weird to me that something that I think you would find more man on the street types that have watched a foreign film from that region.
Yeah.
That it's so hard for them to get those nominations.
Yeah, I can't really say that I watch a lot of foreign films. I definitely need to. I think it's just a matter of...
And I understand some people just don't like you don't want to listen to it dubbed over, and subtitles might not be your thing. I'm not judging anyone that doesn't go for foreign films, but they're interesting. It's nice seeing different cultures. Like, it's so different from like in America with... Like, our movies are so different from other countries.
Right. I'm sure there's a lot of movie-making philosophies that are different in other countries than they are here in the States. And I'm sure that's very interesting to see. I think the only foreign film that I've watched is... it was a Japanese film called Goemon. It was...
I mean, if you've watched any of the classic Godzilla films, you've seen foreign films.
I actually have not. That is your Chris Taylor confession of the day, is that I have not seen any of the original.
Such a shame.
I know. I know.
It's okay. I'll make sure you watch some, and we'll discuss your first experience with a foreign film. Hopefully, it won't be mine, because my first, besides Crouching Tiger, which was kind of, different in that it was such a huge hit. It is the highest grossing foreign film in the U.S. box office ever.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind watching that one. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Oh, it's so great. So beautiful. Where was I going with this? Where did I start this before I digressed?
You didn't want my first experience of the foreign film to be the same as yours.
Yes. I was 18, 19, freshman in college, and I started going to film sites and following the Oscars, like my senior, maybe junior year of high school. And thefilmexperience.net, great site. It's where I go for all my Oscar coverage. They had done their top 5 of the year and included a French film, Beau Travail, which I'm probably mispronouncing. And I was like, you know what? I need to watch a foreign film for one of my classes. I'll watch this one because it comes highly recommended from someone who's I enjoy reading.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an art film, and I was too much of a neophyte when it comes to... Like, I'm sorry, I would not, grab a very artsy movie if I was trying to gradually move someone into watching highbrow cinema, and I kind of just jumped into the deep end here, and I hated the movie so much. I want to revisit it because now that I'm used to that sort of filmmaking, I've seen 20, 30 foreign films at this point. Like, I could probably appreciate it better than like, let's just grab a film and
You just didn't get it at the time, right?
which is, and I might rewatch it and still hate it, but at least
Sure.
I'll be able to form a better opinion other than Jesus Christ, this is boring. Which was my 19-year-old opinion of the film.
Anyway,
Moving on. moving away from foreign film.
So you haven't
maul all the pronunciations.
You haven't watched any of the movies in this category, right?
I have not. Roma is on Netflix. I need to watch it, but I haven't.
All right.
It's over 2 hours long, and going back to editing,
yeah,
it is like I want to go to movies that are an hour and a half again. Like, I am tired of over 2 hours for all of my movies. Like, that's too much time. Cut your unnecessary shit. Like, almost every movie I have not enjoyed, or that I enjoyed but had qualms about, that is my big thing. Like, there is 30 to 40 minutes of this movie that could be removed and not have any effect on the overall story.
Mm-hmm.
Get that shit out of there. I only have a limited amount of time to see movies.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing too. Is like, it's harder to justify popping into an hour and a half movie versus justifying spending 2.5 hours watching the same film.
Yep, like, and I can understand with like something like Infinity War, that's got to cover so much ground. Like, that is a justifiable 3-hour movie.
Right, and there's been so much built up to it. Like, we know, we expect that to be long at that point because there's been so much build up to this. And you're right, they have to cover so much ground. And even then, at least they didn't try to do all of it in one film. They're splitting it up, thankfully. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna have the Harry Potter movie problem where they split the movie in half. But it kind of felt like both of the movies just were a little, like, even split in half. They felt like a little over long because it felt like they were stretching for time because they split the movie in half. But anyway,
I can agree with that.
That's a whole other topic for another day.
All right, so now the Big Eight.
Big Eight.
The Big Eight. Screenplay. 2 categories, original and adapted. Original screenplay nominees are First Reformed, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, and Vice.
Okay.
This one, no fucking idea what's gonna win.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these, so I'm not sure either. But
well, here's this is why it's so hard to predict. Paul Schrader, who is the nominee for First Reform, he has done movies for forever, and it's kind of shocking this is the first time he has ever been nominated. So you might get a career honor for him.
Mm-hmm.
The Favorite, very unique. This is from the same team that did The Lobster, which had been nominated in this category previously. No, it's not the same team. I am wrong on that. But it's a very different take on a royal picture.
Uh-huh.
It's a very different kind of stylistic. So it could go to that because it's breathing life into the royalty porn picture.
Mm-hmm.
Roma, it's again Alfonso Cuarón. He wrote this himself. Passion project, best picture frontrunner, which always helps in the other categories. Mm-hmm. Vice is very much a writer's film. It's all about the dialogue and stylistic touches there. Green Book, I don't know about that. That one, I think, is the only one. But there's so many different storylines that which one will dominate.
Mm-hmm.
So I would lean towards First Reforms. When I do my little pick'em, I'll probably select Paul Schrader to win. But I would not put money on that one.
Yeah, it sounds to me like that one's pretty well up in the air.
Eighth Grade, which was kind of a minor art house hit, was kind of a snub here. It got a lot of recognition in the precursors. Haven't seen it, want to see it. Might be painful to watch because true to life high school movies are always like, oh god, I lived this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adapted screenplay, our nominees are The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born.
Okay, so quickly before we go into these, for a layman such as myself, would you please elaborate on what is the difference between screenplay and adapted screenplay?
Adapted screenplay means that it is based off of a work that has already been written. A book, sequels are automatically considered adapted screenplays because it's based off already created characters. Original screenplay means that you just sat down and wrote it. So
Gotcha.
Vice, because it is a kind of fictional retelling of how Dick Cheney came back to power under Bush, that counts as original because he didn't use a book or a biography about Dick Cheney. Whereas Black Klansman, Spike Lee used a book from the Ron Stallworth, who is the subject of the film, his memoir.
Okay. Got it. Makes sense.
So A Star Is Born, it technically got this because there's been like 3 other versions of it. There's one with one from like the 30s, one from the 50s with Judy Garland, one from the 70s with Barbara Streisand, and then this one. So because it is a story that has been told multiple times, you can't really say it's original.
Right. Makes sense.
This one, I think Black Klansman will win. Give Spike Lee an Oscar, a competitive Oscar. Let me... Because he does have his honorary.
Right.
I really want to see Can You Ever Forgive Me? Because it's such an interesting story. It's about Lee Israel. It's her memoirs. She was a writer who was on hard times, so she started writing writing them herself, but discovering fake documents from dead writers and famous people, and then selling them as if they were real. Which is such an interesting, to me, hook for like, oh wow, it's watching her do this and why she did it. And it stars Melissa McCarthy, and she can do the drama. Like I think she's underrated as an actress because people don't take comedy seriously. I really want to see her in this dramatic role.
Excuse me while I look up Melissa McCarthy, because I'm not putting a name to the face. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Spike Lee with his nomination here. It's his second nom for writing. Barry Jenkins, it's his second nom for writing for If Beale Street Could Talk. It's the first time ever that a black screenwriter has gotten a second nomination, so that's kind of exciting also.
Cool.
And again, I think this is Spike Lee getting that competitive Oscar that he has deserved since Do the Right Thing.
So you think it's going to be Spike Lee then?
I do. I can't see any sort of storyline. If Bradley Cooper is the nominee for A Star Is Born, I feel like if there's going to be any groundswell of support for him is going to be in Best Actor.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think this is Spike Lee. We're sorry for ignoring you for so long. Have a shiny gold statue.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to hop on over to supporting actor, our first acting category.
All right.
Our nominees are Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell for Vice.
Okay.
So Sam Rockwell won this last year for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And the year before that, Mahershala Ali won for Moonlight.
Oh,
so we have the last 2 years' winners in this category. The Adam Driver, Sam Elliott, Richard E. Grant, first nominations for each of them. Sam Elliott finally getting recognized after all his years of being a star.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite it's nice, a nice collection. I will bitch a little bit about Mahershala Ali being nominated because it is a lead role. The Academy, if they want to fucking fix their if they want to fix their damn award show, stop allowing people in lead roles to be nominated in the supporting categories.
Yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose, right?
I mean, yeah, because there was another one. Thank God they didn't get nominated because when we get to supporting actress, you'll get to hear the full rant. If there were 2 leads in the supporting category, I would have Timothée Chalamet for Beautiful Boy was the one that missed out that had precursor attention. But because you had those 2 leading roles that were taking up spots throughout the season, Michael B. Jordan didn't get recognized for Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Yin for Burning. Like, you have a whole bunch of great supporting performances. Alex Wolff in Hereditary that basically get shunted to the side because, we don't want to have to compete with multiple people in lead actor. Like, Thelma and Louise got nominated, so can you. If your movie is good, if the performances are well done enough, you will get the nominations. Stop your bullshit. Yeah, and that rant's going to come up again in supporting actress. I'll just warn you now, because that one does have 2 leading roles nominated. Mahershala Ali, with his lead role, has just steamrolled all the precursors. People like giving a lead actor the Best Supporting Actor trophy for some reason. He is your favorite to win. If you had a sentimental, let's rally around them, I think that there is that, but they're going to be split between Sam Elliott and Richard E. Grant. So I don't see any way for Mahershala to lose, which I like him. He's a good performer. I loved him in Luke Cage. He was so good in Moonlight. Damn it, you're a lead. And
wrong category.
I bitched about this with Brokeback Mountain because they moved Jake Gyllenhaal to supporting for that one. Just like I don't like the bottom in a gay male relationship being put in supporting. I'm not quite sure I like the black guy being put in supporting and the white guy in lead. Like, it's not a good look. Stop doing it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, I am angry.
I'm just living up to your namesake at this point.
So, supporting actress.
Right.
Supporting actress. Our nominees are Amy Adams for Vice, Marina de Tavieres for Roma, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk, Emma Stone for The Favorite, and Rachel Weisz also for The Favorite. And Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz are both fucking leads. It is a 3-lead movie, them two and Olivia Colman, taking up 2/5 of the damn category because of those two stealing these spots all throughout award season. We did not get Nicole Kidman for Boy Erased. We did not get Elizabeth Debicki for Widows. We did not get Michelle Yeoh for Crazy Rich Asians. Bunch of bullshit. Bunch of bullshit. I don't approve. How dare you?
So, folks, when I said earlier that I would just be here smiling and nodding while Nick rant, this is it. This is
that moment.
This is it.
And what kills me about it is in the same category, you have Marina de Tavris nominated for Roma. This is the first time in the modern, because you have all these precursor awards nowadays that you used to not have 20 years ago, the first time in modern awardage that someone has been nominated without any precursor support. She did not get any critics prizes. She did not get any critics mentions even. No Globe nod, no BAFTA nod, no SAG nod. Just completely out of nowhere nomination. And it's so exciting to see that because it means people are watching the movies and thinking about what they nominate, which makes me so mad that they put 2 lead roles in this category. Ah!
Well, I was about to ask if you thought it was warranted, but it sounds like you think it is.
I don't care. Like, Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz could be tying for the best performance in cinema of the last 50 years. Don't put them in this fucking category. Regina King is the favorite, thankfully. If I had to deal with 2 leads winning the supporting categories, it's just I did not watch the SAG Awards because of the fact that they had 3 leads nominating and supported actress. They put Emily Blunt for A Quiet Place there, and she won. So 4 leading roles won all of the acting categories because fuck the supporting players, apparently. Yeah, Regina King is the favorite. Thank God. You go, Regina. I've loved you forever. You're hilarious. You're a great actress. I'm glad you're the front runner. I pray you don't get surprised with some bullshit on an Oscar night. Random factoid, Amy Adams with her 6th Oscar nomination for Vice, or her 6th Oscar nomination total this year for Vice. She is now tied with Thelma Ritter and Deborah Kerr for the most nominations without having won yet. If she surprises this year and wins, she'll not have that. But Thelma Ritter 0-6, Deborah Kerr 0-6. Amy Adams might be joining an esteemed club this year.
Well, at least there's something.
I mean, that's at this point, I think she'll probably lose this year. If she gets another nomination, she probably has the It's Time storyline to go with her, and it's a cakewalk to a win when you have that. Mm-hmm. So, Amy, I love you. I would have given you Best Actress for Arrival. I'm sorry they didn't nominate you. Let Regina King have this. So, actor. I've been most excited for this category because of the trivia I'm going to give you, and I really want you to vocalize your reaction to the trivia.
Okay.
Our nominees are Christian Bale for Vice, Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, Willem Dafoe for At Eternity's Gate,
okay.
Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, and Viggo Mortensen for Green Book.
God, Viggo. Okay.
Speaking of Viggo, and I got this from the Film Experience to give a shout out to that blog, that movie site again. This is the first role Viggo Mortensen has been nominated for an Oscar for, in which he did not show his penis during the movie.
Well, I guess people just like the look of his penis. I don't know, man.
I mean, Eastern Promises had the famous shower fight. Captain Fantastic, he just steps out and there's his penis. This time he got to keep his clothes on.
Well, man,
good for you, Vigo.
If that's all it takes for some people to get an Oscar, I don't know if more people don't do that.
Because movies are still dominated by male filmmakers that are like, ew, gross, penis. Which is true. Like, as a gay man, I will say the penis is not pretty to look at. But equal opportunity, show me penis. I want to see which actors are well endowed.
Sure. Why not? As on the on the other side of the spectrum, it actually wouldn't bother me all that much. But
I mean, yeah, Game of Thrones does it, and it's still super popular.
That is true.
On that male nudity note, someone had told me beforehand that Bradley Cooper, you get to see his butt in A Star is Born. And, you know, it's a good film. Like, I would have watched it anyway, but I'm like, oh, that's something nice to look forward to while watching the film. I think Bradley Cooper is very attractive, and you do not see his butt. You see, like, the side of his hip, and his pants are down, so I guess technically you're seeing the side of his butt, but that is not butt. I am sorry. They did this shit to me with Troy. Like, oh yeah, you get to see all of the butt, and it's like, no, I get to see the side of his thigh, which is not what I want to see. And Troy wasn't a good movie, so I just suffered on that one.
You know, it's funny. The top search on Google for Bradley Cooper is not Bradley Cooper, but his wife.
Is he married?
I don't know. That's just like if you start typing in Bradley Cooper, wife is the top result.
Weird.
Irina Shayk? What? Russian supermodel.
Huh. So I bet what it is that she's really hot, but no one can remember her name, or at the very least how to spell it correctly. So Bradley Cooper, real easy to spell. Great way to find pictures of her.
Apparently, I don't know. Apparently, they're a thing right now, but not married.
Ah,
but there you go. There's your celebrity gossip of the day.
Bradley, don't date women. Date men. We're so much better.
Are we really? I don't know if that's true.
You know what? I honestly, you're right.
I don't know if that's true.
Willem Dafoe was a huge shock nomination. I think he got a Golden Globe nod, but he wasn't really in the conversation. A lot of people thought it would be John David Washington for Black Klansman or Ethan Hawke for First Reformed.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to seen John David Washington get nominated, but I don't have, aside from really appreciating Bradley Cooper's performance, I don't have a strong opinion in this category. Christian Bale is probably the front runner. It's between him and Rami Malek. I love you, Rami, but I don't want you to win because Bohemian Rhapsody is a piece of shit, and I don't want it to win anything.
So would you pick him over Dafoe?
Pick who?
From Black Klansman. You literally just said his name.
I haven't seen... Oh, John David Washington.
John David, yeah, that's it.
I have not seen At Eternity's Gate, so for all I know, this is one of those nominations that will get people to see a movie that needs to be seen.
Okay.
Because it's got a great performance. But, meh.
For me, I can tell you that it was just kind of surprising to hear Dafoe's name. I feel like I haven't heard anything about him in a long time, but...
He was nominated just last year for supporting actor.
Oh, well, there we go. Shows how much I know, ladies and gentlemen.
Bradley Cooper, Christian Bale, Willem Dafoe, they are all on their fourth nomination. Christian Bale is the only one that has won. So, like, part of me doesn't want him to win. He already has an Oscar granted for supporting, but that was another case where it was a leading role in the supporting category, so...
What movie was that for?
The Fighter.
Okay.
But if it's not going to be Bradley Cooper, go ahead and give it to Bale because, again, fuck Bohemian Rhapsody.
Anything but them, right?
You know, it's the last time a movie I hated this much got so many nominations. I think it was Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. And that was mostly technical nominations, but damn if it did not clean up on them. And I'm like, why? Mm-hmm. This movie is terrible. Why are you giving it awards?
Yeah, not super great. Anyway. So that's best actor.
Yes. I'm going to skip over to director and come back to actress.
All right. Fair enough.
This is another one where I get to mispronounce everything and be ashamed of myself. The nominees are Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Spike Lee for BlacKkKlansman, Adam McKay for Vice, and Paweł Pawlikowski for Cold War.
Okay.
Alfonso Cuarón, he got 4 nominations this year alone. I kind of went over it earlier. This is a kind of a surprising group. Pawlikowski for Cold War, very surprising nomination, and apparently Cold War is on Amazon, so if you're wanting to check out a foreign film, you're not allowed to, Chris, but anyone listening to this, go see Cold War. Chris, I have a special movie picked out for you for your first foreign film.
Oh boy, send help.
And man, I look forward to discussing that. Cuarón is the favorite by a large margin on this. His passion movie is the best picture frontrunner. He's got, again, 4 nominations just for the making of that movie. I don't see anyone beating him. Maybe Spike Lee, if they feel really, really bad about ignoring him all these years. But I feel because they can give him that screenplay award, Cuarón, he's got this.
Okay.
As far as snubs that got precursor attention, you have Peter Farrelly for Green Book, which, thank God, I don't need the director of Dumb and Dumber getting a Best Picture nomination. Especially
not a fan, huh?
For a problematic movie like Green Book. I will not go into the details there, but there's issues with it. The family of one of the people it's based off of have pretty much disowned the movie, so that's generally not a good look. Then Bradley Cooper, who I feel should have been nominated. Random aside, he mentioned how disappointed he was to not be nominated for Best Director, which is understandable. Like, right. He got all the precursors. He was expected to be nominated for it. And all these people are giving him shit for it. Like, just some rich guy whining. I'm like, no, he worked really hard on something and didn't get recognized for it. Like, you're allowed to be disappointed for that.
Yeah, I mean, especially filling both a director and an actor role, like, 2 almost completely different worlds.
Yeah, it's so weird to me. Like, why? Why are you mad at him for expressing disappointment about being recognized? Table flip. All right, so we're moving on over to Best Actress. Our nominees are Yalitza Aparicio for Roma, and I hope I said that name right because I tried really hard. Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, and Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me? Now, what I love about this category is none of the nominees have won an Oscar before.
Oh, interesting. So all these will be first time.
Three of them, it is their first nomination ever. Melissa McCarthy, this is her 2nd nomination. Glenn Close, this is her 7th nomination.
Oh, wow.
So, she's the front runner. If, for some reason, she does not win, she will be the most nominated actress in the history of the awards to never win.
Oh man, that's. I mean, it's kind of an awful stigma to have, but.
I mean, on one hand, it means you gave a lot of good performances that got recognized.
Yeah, exactly.
But you didn't win.
It was just like.
Which, she's won a lot of the precursors. I think she is the favorite to win. I think the only one that could beat her is Olivia Colman for The Favorite, because that is a very well-loved movie. And she apparently gives a phenomenal performance in it. But Glenn Close, she's done her time. She's done 40 movies. She's got 7 nominations. Let's give her the win finally.
Mm-hmm.
If she does win, she will be only the 3rd ever actress over the age of 70 to win an Oscar competitively.
Wow. Okay.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Man, lots of. Sounds like there's a lot of firsts in this year.
There are, which is why it's so sad that so many of the nominations are embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, why did you recognize Bohemian Rhapsody? Now, I will say, I love you, Glenn. I'm okay with you getting this Oscar. You did not give the best performance by a leading actress this year. None of these nominees did. That was Toni Collette for Hereditary. And if there was not such an extreme bias against horror films, I think she would have cleaned up this year. Because, holy crap, that was a great performance.
Okay. Yeah, I actually had to look her up as well. But yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Love her. She was nominated. She has a nomination for The Sixth Sense, so it would have been great to see her nominated multiple times for horror film roles, because those types of movies don't get recognized. Mm-hmm. They're actually not the least recognized genre, though. That would be sci-fi.
That unfortunately makes a lot of sense.
But she was so good. Like, that is a 2-hour movie that did not feel like a 2-hour movie, and I give so much credit to her. Also to Alex Wolff, who plays her son in it. Both of them were great. She should have won every award. Like, she was one that if she had won every single award from beginning to end, I would have been like, yeah, that's cool. I'm okay with it.
I'm satisfied with the decisions you have made.
Yeah, without her there, I guess I'll root for Glenn Close just to get that trophy that she's probably earned, if not for this role, then for one of the other nominations that she's received.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of an exciting category. Melissa McCarthy, I love her and excited to see her get a second Oscar nomination. Lady Gaga did a great job in A Star is Born.
Mm-hmm.
Yalitza Aparicio. Foreign language films very rarely get Oscar nominations, so seeing her get nominated for a debut performance is kind of exciting.
That's very cool.
25, first film ever.
Very cool. Yeah, I think you're mostly right on the pronunciation. I looked it up a second ago.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been able to get that one right myself either. But wow, that's very cool. This is her first one. Can you think of anyone that has won Best Actor or Actress, or even Supporting Actor or Actress?
Oh yeah, that's happened several times. Jennifer Hudson won for her first performance. Dreamgirls was the first movie she had ever done. Hang S. Noir, which I might be mispronouncing his name. It's Ngor. I'm just kind of guessing there. He got Supporting Actor for The Killing Fields in the 80s. Shirley Booth won Best Actress for her first film role, Comeback Little Sheba, which is kind of a weird scenario in that she had performed that on the stage version and just went to the movie transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? They're scattered throughout. It's not totally uncommon to even receive a nomination, but there have been quite a few that have actually won on their debut performances.
That's really cool. Yeah, talking about coming out swinging. You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna put my vote towards her because that's just really cool to me. I haven't seen the film. maybe I'll just see the film first. But
I know nothing. I like the storyline. We'll go with this.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good story.
And see, that I think that plays such a large part into who wins various Oscars that if she won, I think that is how the majority would have voted. Mm-hmm. That would have been their thought process. So, we're at the creme de la creme, Best Picture.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I'm going to start with the fewest number of nominations and work my way up.
Okay.
The nominees are Green Book, 5 total nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Bohemian Rhapsody, 5 total nominations.
Rip.
Undeserved ones at that. Black Klansman with 6 nominations. Black Panther with 7 nominations. Vice with 8 nominations. A Star is Born, 8 nominations. The Favorite with 10 nominations, and Roma with 10 nominations.
Wow. Roma doing very well in all of these categories.
Roma is the front runner. If it wins, it's the first time a foreign film has won Best Picture. That's exciting. Haven't seen the movie. Not going to argue against it. Yeah. The only of these, let's see, Bohemian Rhapsody, Green Book, Black Panther, Black Klansman. Yeah, all of these, I think Roma would be the most significant historically. Black Panther is already the most significant, and that is the first superhero movie nominated for Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the first to deserve it. There's some good ones prior to this, but it made it in, and it gets that feather in its cap. Yeah, I think this is Roma's to win. I think they're probably going to win it. I can't really see anything else taking it over storyline-wise, aside from maybe The Favorite, since it just has a lot of love spread across everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it got 3 acting nominations, and actors are the largest voting block, so...
Right.
I'm hoping the fact it only got 5 nominations prevents Bohemian Rhapsody from destroying my very soul by winning Best Picture. But it wouldn't be the first time the Oscars did that to me. I still remember Brokeback Mountain losing to Crash. I almost had to call into work the next day because of that bullshit.
Yeah.
So if I call in the Monday after the Oscars,
I'll know why. I'll know why.
Interesting facts about this. Black Panther is obviously the biggest hit, #1 of the year, $700 million. They always talk about, the Oscars just nominate a bunch of movies no one has seen. Everyone has seen Black Panther.
Yes.
Come on now. And then Bohemian Rhapsody, despite being a piece of shit, made over $200 million. Because everyone loves Queen, and so they forgive the movie for being awful because Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Stars Born made over $200 million. Like, these are all very successful movies, so I don't know why this narrative that they don't recognize big hits. Like, it happened maybe once in the last 20 years that you didn't have a true hit amongst the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dumb. Green Book, Black Klansman, Vice, Favorite, or maybe not The Favorite. The Favorite I think is at 30 million. All the rest are in the 40 and 50 million. So they did good money versus their budget.
Mm-hmm. It's an important thing too. How much did they spend making the movie versus how much they made back?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, besides Bohemian Rhapsody obviously being your favorite.
Obviously.
Which one? Which one? I mean, I know you mentioned Roma, like that's the one to win, but what do you want to win? What is your personal pick?
So I've only seen A Star Is Born, Black Panther, and Bohemian Rhapsody of the nominees, which is actually kind of high for me. Um, Obviously, living in West Bumblefuck, Texas, a lot of these movies don't reach us before the nominations. But aside from The Favorite and Roma, I think all of these actually did play here. So I should have seen more. I really don't have the excuse.
I mean,
of the three I've seen, Black Panther is my favorite.
Yeah.
And I would not be against it winning Best Picture.
I'd have to agree
To
with
me,
that.
it is a respectable... Like, my favorite movie of the year, which I'm still doing some cleanup. I'm trying to catch Roma, maybe go see Green Book to see if it's as problematic as I've heard. Brent's Black Klansman. Black Panther is just a good, solid, respectable movie.
Yes.
My favorite of the year is Hereditary, though.
Yeah.
Great film. I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you're not into horror films, it might not be your jam. But it's such a good movie. Such a good movie. Toni Collette is amazing. Good acting all around. Gosh, what else would I consider? I mean, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, I was talking about how great it was earlier.
So that was the only category it was in, right? Because I don't...
Yes, it only got nominated. And this... if we're going to remove some categories, get rid of Best Animated Feature and let that... Because it ghettoizes it. Like, the reason you don't see things get nominated outside of that category is you're like, oh, we can just recognize it here. So when they initially expanded from 5 to 10, you saw Up and Toy Story 3 get nominated. That's never going to happen again as long as the Best Animated category is there.
Damn.
I mean, Beauty and the Beast will forever and always be the only film to get nominated for Best Picture when there were 5 nominees. Best Animated Film, I should say, or if I can talk. The only animated film to get nominated for Best Picture. I mean, it is the best animated film ever. My humble opinion.
Bold words.
But you ghettoize an entire group of movies. And while you might occasionally have, like, Isle of Dogs got a original score nomination, Inside Out managed to get nominated for original screenplay, that is going to become rarer and rarer as long as you have this category. So get rid of that shit. Combined sound, boom, that's 2 categories down. You can put there's editing and cinematography back in your damn show.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Put those back in. Kind of getting back to the Best Picture thing. I'd have to, I like, again, the story of Roma, with the Best Actress getting her first movie getting a nomination and even potentially winning is really cool to me. Being the first foreign film to grab that would be awesome.
It would. That's why I'm not really against it winning. Even, if it's not going to be my favorite movie, I have a feeling it's not going to be my favorite movie, which is kind of a bad opinion to have going into it, but I'm just like, there's so much hype to it at this point. I don't think it can live up to that.
Right. Yeah. Beyond that, I'd probably have to give it to Black Panther, just because I love that movie. It's really well done. Everything comes together really well. Yeah, just a damn good movie. I don't know what else to say.
No, I think it's good.
So
one thing I want to note, since I was bitching about movie length, The Favorite is the only one of the Best Picture nominees, of which there are 8, that is under 2 hours. And it's only under 2 hours by a minute.
okay, so all of them are 2 hours plus.
All of these are a commitment when you go to watch them. Which again, I enjoyed A Star Is Born and Black Panther. I'm not against 2-hour movies. I'm against Bohemian Rhapsody being a 2-hour movie.
Well, that's a whole other discussion that we've had multiple times.
You know, I need to make you watch Bohemian Rhapsody so that we can actually discuss it at length.
Roast it, you mean?
Well, maybe you'll enjoy it. I mean, it made $200 million. It can't be everyone hate watching it.
True, but there is a difference between, and you mentioned this the other day. We were talking about, I can't remember what we're talking about, but I remember you saying this, that there's a difference between enjoying the movie and the movie being actually good.
Very fair, and boy howdy if I could drill that into everyone's head. Like, please understand these are not the same thing. I enjoy many movies that are not good.
Yeah, I also do. Oh, yeah, because we were talking about another thing to do this podcast over, which that'll be another topic for another time, I think.
Yes. Yeah, so that's the Oscar nominees. I'm very excited for the ceremony, despite their stupid decisions, both nomination and broadcast-wise. I want to see it. I want to watch it. I want to have opinions about it the next day. But if they don't change course, like if they decide to keep this, we're going to rotate out 4 awards each year, unless they go truly... like, if you better rotate out some acting awards if you're going to do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to treat everyone equally if that is your plan.
And also,
but really, just put everything back in the damn ceremony.
And also, don't put leading actors and actresses in the supporting actors and actresses categories.
Yes, that's... Like, I kind of want to, go into, the last few years of the supporting just to see how bad it is. Like, am I exaggerating? And I'm pretty sure I'm not. So if we go to... Let's see. I think last year actually was all supporting. Yeah, last year actually was supporting roles. So they got it right last year. They've proven they can do it. 2 years ago, Viola Davis won for Fences because they put her in supporting, even though she was a lead. I feel like she would have won lead because she was so good in that movie. But instead, she got relegated to supporting. It was bullshit. Shouldn't have happened. That same year, Dev Patel for Lion, who is the focus of the entire damn movie, got put in supporting and got nominated for it. Rooney Mara for Carol, and Alicia Vikander, who won for The Danish Girl. That's 2. That's 2! 2! We're going to have to stop after this year, because if I go any further back, I'm going to have a seizure.
Man. Well, that's all our categories, right?
That is all of them.
That's
it's such a potential for so many historic wins this year that I have to watch it, but it makes me so much more angrier that they're rotating stuff out, because what happens when one of those historic wins is not aired?
Yeah, it's on the sideshow. That's No, I agree. Yeah. such important things they're leaving out too. Like, I don't know.
It don't make no sense, but oh well. What can you do except bitch about it?
Exactly.
Hey, if you bitch enough, like they were going to do that most popular film category, and
Yeah.
we put a stop to that bullshit.
Well,
all right. I don't know if we're going to watch a movie and discuss that, or take a hard right turn into like video games or something, but
who knows?
Until the next podcast. This is Nick.
This is Chris.
Hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble.
Peace.